Kick and chase by Mullins. Kick and chase again by Mullins. It'll be a miracle. Oh, it is a miracle. Fafita tries to crash his way over. He does. Fafita got the ball over the line.
Hunter's kick is over the sideline for a 40-20.
Yeah, g'day champions and welcome to 40-20 Sports. Round 4 team lists are in. I'm going a bit live with this. I've only just seen them. Probably won't get this out until tomorrow, just how night shift works for me, so we'll run with that. But anyway, congratulations to Anthony, coach of Best of the Best, this weekend's winner for the 40-20 Cup. He scored 1,304 points, so that's massive for him. I think he's in the top 1,000 easily. I think maybe top 500. I had a quick little look at your scores, mate. Doing awesome. We finished with 1,097 for the Ferrets, so bit of an uptick for us. We are now into the about 21,000. Just goes to show how close the competition is at the moment, because I was at 50,000, so I've gone up 30,000 spots in 1 week. And 1,097, good score, I'm happy with it, but it's nothing to write home about. Anyway, we've got the league code there for anyone wanting to jump on the 40-20 Cup. It is 726-638. You've got until round 8 to jump on. We're doing a merch pack giveaway for the winner there. Heaps of shirts, hats, stickers, stubby coolers, all that sort of good gear. So please jump on for that and have a look. Also, this week we've been absolutely fucking rocked with injuries. Please add us on Instagram. It's just a bit easier to talk to people and get a bit more information and find out how their team's looking if people talk to me on Instagram rather than on YouTube. It's just a bit better way of communicating. Anyone got any questions, I'll get straight onto it and I'll answer straight back. I haven't missed a person yet. So if you've got any questions, I know there's going to be heaps. There's a shitload of injuries getting around. So please don't hesitate. Jump on Instagram. Links down there. Have a look at us and ask us any questions you need to ask us. All right, anyway, we'll get stuck into it. The Thursday night game at 8 o'clock is the Roosters versus the Panthers. For the Roosters, we got Teddy, Tupu, Joey Suwali, Joey Manu, Dom Young. Luke Keary comes back after the Sandon Smith injury, and Sam Walker is in the halves. No real changes there. Sandon Smith has done his elbow. I don't know anyone who would have jumped on him too early yet, so not a big implications there for the back seven there for the Roosters. In the forwards, we've got Terrell May coming into the starting side. Lindsay Collins is out for 2 to 3 weeks. There was a bit of speculation. Terrell May had a bit of an injury, but he seems right to go. They did play it down, the Roosters, him coming off in the second 2 or 3 minutes to go, but the teams, they love doing that anyway. But yeah, it looks like Terrell May's got the start with Jared Ware-Hargraves and Brandon Smith in the front row. Out the back is the same with Nat Butcher, Satili Tupanua and Victor Radley. Wonder what says Victor Radley's been playing 80 minutes in all 3 games. I thought it might have been a bit of an injury concern sort of thing with the other players. But last week there wasn't really an injury in the forward pack and he still got 80 minutes. So he's been pumping out 60s. He scored a try in Vegas, we all know that. But he's probably one to have a bit of a look at. He can't play Origin because of he's got his English international duties there, but he's one to watch, I think, for the 13 if he continues to get 80 minutes. On the bench, Connor Watson, Nafua White, Egan Butcher comes into that side, and Angus Crichton is on the 17 again as well. For the Panthers, Brad Schneider comes in with Nathan Cleary out for 2 to 4 weeks, I believe. He's had this hamstring issue before. I can't see a world where it won't be 4 weeks minimum. They've got the bye in 3 weeks, so they're not going to play him until then. And then even then, if they do win a couple of games in between that time, I can't see where they'll play him. I don't think they'll do that. Yeah, so I think he's still a reluctant sell. I'm probably going to sell Cleary this week just because I think that he will run out with that 4 games. But anyway, besides that, there's not too much difference. We've got Edwards, Taruva, Targo, May, To'o, and Jerome Luai. Anyone looking to jump on Isaac Targo, just note that his last 2 games that he's played, where he's brained at 145 at 100, has been up against second rowers jumping into the centres, and Nathan Cleary, too smart, giving him early ball. He's just been dominating those guys. In the forwards for the Panthers, we've got Moses Leota, Mitch Kenny. He's been playing 80 minutes as well. He's a good little option. Base was down a little bit last week, but did score a try, which is very out of the ordinary for Mitch Kenny. But anyway, he's one to watch if you wanted to jump on him. He's set for a good little price rise. If you're running a Danny Levi Grant and you're looking to go Levi to someone, Mitch Kenny's an option there, although I've got this issue and there's too many spot fires to put out this week for me to consider that. Lindsay Smith, Luke Garner, Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo comes in with Scotty Sorensen. He is also out for a couple of weeks there. So Luke Garner is the beneficiary there. He comes on. On the bench, Dane Laurie, Matt Eisenhuth, Liam Henry, and Maverick Geyer gets a start. He'll get onto his debut. Not sure about his minutes. Very promising for Liam Henry owners. He got 45 minutes last week, pumped out 52, I think it was. So if you've jumped on Liam Henry early, good on yous. I was planning on trying to get him in this week, but I think with all the injuries that are circulating, I'm probably not going to be able to. But Maverick Guy will be one to watch. I think he'll only be there until Sorensen and Fisher-Harris come back. But anyway, he is an option. The next game, the Friday night game, 4 o'clock because of Easter, is the Rabbits-Dogs. It'll be a very interesting one, this one. The Rabbits will be looking to bounce back. Couple of poor performances, and the Dogs are coming off a red-hot game up against the Titans there. So for the Rabbits, we've got Latrell, Alex Johnson, Jack Whiten. He looked like he had a bit of a niggling knee injury, but seems right to go. Isaiah Tass, Tane Milne. The halves, they're going again with the same team. They've got 48 points put on them. Cody Walker and Dean Hawkins. I don't think Dean Hawkins is the answer. I'm not sure if Lockie Ilias is the answer, but I would be sort of pursuing Lockie Ilias over this. Dean Hawkins, just, I don't know. There's something about this team where I think if they do not have a predominant 7 who's willing to tell everyone else in the team, no, this is my team, I'm calling the shots. You've got Latrell want the ball, Cody Walker wants the ball, Cam Murray wants the ball, Cookie wants the ball, everyone wants a fucking ball except for the halfback who's the one who needs the ball. So I'm not sure what their answer is there. I think they need to find an old school halfback who just wants to abuse everyone and tell everyone where they need to go and shut up and this is what we're doing sort of thing. And I'm not sure that Dean Hawkins or Lockie Ilias is that player. For the forwards, Tavita Totola, Damien Cook comes back onto the starting 9. Savili Havili is gone to 18th man. So he looks set to play 80 minutes. Cookie again. Tommy Burgess comes on. David Moali pushed back to the bench. Sean Keppie misses out altogether. Sean Keppie is probably a sell if you can manage it with the injuries that are happening this week. Keon Kalala-Matangi had a blinder last week, got 98. He's just sideways crabbing, palming off. I think 13 tackle busts in that game. He was massive. So he's probably a bit of a look, but he's also in a run for a New South Wales jersey. He played really well in the Blues game last year. Jacob Host and Cam Murray, a bit of a few questions about Cam Murray. I think there was a thing he came limping off training, but I think what's actually happened there is he's just been told, rest up. He has a bit of a niggling injury. Apparently he will not miss any game time with it. Fingers crossed. But he is one to watch there. On the bench, Michael Cheekham comes in, Tallis Duncan, Shaq Mitchell, and Davey Moali. So for those looking who started with Totola and whatnot, looks like the 4-forward bench is going to continue there. So, yeah, I don't like any of the forwards there from the Rabbits, apart from Cam Murray, who they just need in the middle. For the Dogs, the back 7 is the same there with Taff, Wilson, and Tracy on the wings. Jacob Carraz, huge game from them. Couple of people looking to jump off, but his base has been so rock solid. He just needs a couple of attacking opportunities. He got them, and he turned up. So, leave him in your squads. He's a good get. Stephen Crichton jumps in there as well. Matty Burton and Drew Hutchison. Drew Hutchison, it was just a wave of ball that they had, the Dogs. So Drew Hutchison finally got some attacking opportunities. I don't see him getting as much in the next couple of weeks, but with that 64 or 62, whatever it is, in his rolling average, you keep him in. The forwards, now it's a fucking shambles, the forwards at the Dogs. The rotation is just mind-boggling. But anyway, we've got Maxi King, Reed Marnie, Liam Knight. He'll come on for 20 minutes, and then we probably won't see him again. Viliami Kikau, Jacob Preston, and Jamin Salmon come on as well. Jamin Salmon owners, I don't know what the fuck's going on with there. He seems to come on, play 30 minutes in the middle, ship off, and then comes on the last 10-15 onto the right-hand edge there and gives Preston a bit of a breather. So I don't think Jacob Preston needs a breather. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what his interchange is, his thought process is with all that. But then he's got blokes like Sam Hughes and Curtis Moran that get nearly no game time coming off the bench, and Kurt Mann comes on and plays 45 minutes. I'm not sure what happens there, but Joshy Curran, we probably got a bit more of a realistic game output from him. He only got the 45 minutes. I'm hoping he can bump that up to 45 to 50 minutes. Hopefully they took him off just because the game was blowing out a little bit at the end and wanted to rest him a bit. But yeah, should be looking at a bit more game time there for Joshy Curran. But anyway, still he got 53 points. Should have got a try in there, so could have bumped it up to 70, and then we wouldn't be having those issues at all. The Broncos versus the Cowboys is the 8 o'clock game on Friday. We've got a stack of changes in this one for the poor old Broncos. They are decimated. At fullback, Tristan Saylor comes in. He's 500-something K, so he's not this guy that we can jump in for 6 weeks, hope that he makes a bit of money, and then piss him off. He's too highly priced for anyone, I think. Jesse Arthurs and Dean Marina, they jump on the wing. Selwyn Cobbo and Katoni Staggs in the centres. Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds returns in the halves. Geez, they needed him to come back. They're up against it with the Cowboys. The Cowboys' attack is flowing, so they'll need Adam Reynolds in there to try and put those kicks into space, dive them down into their corners and try and keep them down there. Corey Jensen and Fletcher Baker comes onto the starting side. Fletcher Baker's been running at a points per minute about 1.1. So he's not a bad get if he can get 40 to 45 minutes. He played pretty well last week, but yeah, him having the starting opportunity here, he's one to watch over the next couple of weeks. Billy Wilder's in the 9. He'll get subbed out with Tyson Smoothie. Jaden Hunt comes on as the second row forward there for Piakura. Not a lot's come out about Piakura at the moment. All it is that he suffered an injury. He's hobbled off at training, so he is out this week. If that's out for a couple of weeks, Jaden Hunt next week should be in our teams, I think. He's a gun. He trialled really well. He played really well against the Cowboys especially. So I have got my eye on Jaden Hunt, as everyone else should be. On the bench, like I said, Tyson Smoothie, he'll come in at the hooker position. Xavier Willison scored 50 points last week. Now he has that in his rolling average. If he has a decent game this week, he will be one to bring in for sure next week. Kobe Hetherington and Corey Oates comes on in the 17. Now, I'm not sure where they put Corey Oates, but I'm guessing he subs in for Jaden Hunt. There has been rumours for years and years that he wants to come in and be a second rower. So, yeah, whether it does happen or not, Kevy has done some strange things with Corey Oates. We're telling him he's starting and he doesn't. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. For the Cows, they are unchanged in the back 7, except for Zach Laybutt. He comes back into the team. We've got Scotty Drinkwater, Cole Felt, Valentine Holmes, Zach Laybutt, Murray Tuilagi, Tom Didden, and Chad Townsend wrap up that 7. That is pretty stock standard. We sort of expected that, especially with Zach Laybutt coming back there. In the forwards, Jordan McLean, Reece Robson, Jason Taumalolo. Now, a lot of people wondering about Jason Taumalolo. I'd be jumping off now. 20 minutes, it looks like if they have a decent lead, not just if they have a decent lead, but if they are down by more than 16 points or something crazy like that, he won't come back on. So he's a sell reluctantly, but anyway, I think you need to prioritise getting rid of him because he could come out and play only 20 minutes every single game, and then you're shot for cash. Finafuiaki scored a nice try, 57 points he did have a HIA, so you could probably add another 8 to 10 points onto that, the way he was going. It looks really good. It looks really damaging. I'm not 100% confident he plays 80 minutes anyway. He probably only runs out 60 to 65, but he was good. Scored a try. He'll make a nice little cash rise for people. Jeremiah Nanai, he was a bit disappointing. I thought for sure against the Dragons he was going to have a blinder, but was a little bit quiet. Ruben Cotter is named, but he did leave the field last week with what looked like an ankle sprain. Haven't really heard anything from the Cowboys officially as of yet, but from what the NRL physio sort of alluded to, it was a 1 to 2 week recovery period. Now, that wasn't 1 or 2 games, that was 1 or 2 weeks. So he could very well start. I'm hoping he does. I'm an owner. Even if he starts and plays a limited amount of game time, 40, 45 minutes, I'd be happy with that. Just with the amount of injuries, the 3 that I have got that look like they are predominant injuries is really only Nathan Cleary. I've escaped it pretty well, but Cotter maybe a week and Cam Murray maybe monitored. I just really hope Cotter gets out there and plays at least 40, 45 minutes anyway. On the bench, Jack Granville, Griffin Neame, Sam McIntyre and Jack Gazewski. Sam McIntyre, anyone who jumped on him, he seems to be the beneficiary of Taumalolo having very low amount of output and low amount of minutes. They seem to chuck him in. They trust him. He scored a nice try. He got 70-odd points, so he is up for a massive price rise. congratulations to anyone who got onto that. For the Saturday match, we have got the Dragons versus the Seagulls. The poor old Dragons, they looked like they were going to thunder home against the Cows, and they ended up getting absolutely walloped. Although the changes are basically nothing. All that's missing there is Ben Murdoch-Masila from that side. So the back seven is the same as last week. Tyrell Sloan, Zach Lomax, and Ravalawa on the wing. Sully and Bird in the centres. Kyle Flanagan and Ben Hunt. Now, anyone who's got on Kyle Flanagan, I was 100% going Kyle Flanagan to Lockie Galvin this week, but now that the issues with Nathan Cleary have come up, I've got Cleary and Hines. Again, I'm nervous about Hines. We'll get into that in a second, but the Nathan Cleary thing has allowed me to go Luke Brooks up into my halves, and I'm actually going to be running Flanagan and Galvin. I'm probably going to have to play Galvin. Trust him a bit more than Flano. But Flano's got the 71 in the rolling average, so it was going to be a premature sell on Flanagan anyway. He's going to make some good cash. So if I can get another week out of that and try and look for a 5-8 next week, possibly Munster back in, he could be an option there. In the forwards, we got Francis Molo. Jacob Little comes back from his HIA breather. Blake Laurie, Luciano Leilua, Jaden Sewer, and Tom Eisenhuth comes into the starting side at number 13. Look, not a lot going on there. Little's been decent, but Marshke on the bench there, he's going to squash a couple of his minutes. Luciano Leilua looked really good NRL-wise, I thought, the first 20, but so did all the Dragons, but he didn't really score that crash hot. But anyway, Tom Eisenhuth, if you've got him, I'd be leaving him, going in at lock. I think Jack DeBellin is going to come in a middle forward role. He's on the bench. So we've got Marshke, DeBellin, Harmseller, and Raymond Fatala-Mariner. I think DeBellin's going to come on in the 25th minute, and he'll run as a middle forward. Other than that, not much there else from the Dragons. For the Seagulls, Turbo, Raymond Vega, he was decent in his first game. We get another look at him. The only issue there is that Tommy Talau is on the bench. Probably worst case scenario for super coaches with Jason Saar being out for the 6 weeks there. We're sort of hoping we would get a price rise this week out of Tommy Talau or Vega. Hasn't really happened, but anyway, they are one to watch. Tommy Talau is on the extended bench again, though, so he may come in instead of Vega. We'll see what happens there. Talatel Kula, Ruben Garrick, Jackson Polo. Ruben Garrick been really, really good in the centres. He's still got a ton of opportunities running off DCE. He's moved out the right-hand edge and Turbo sweeping around that side. So his base is down a little bit, but his attacking is up a fair bit as well. So he's sort of evened out. I'm just a little bit worried about Ruben Garrick I'm not worried about him this week. I think he'll score a ton against the Dragons, but just a bit worried when he comes up against tougher opposition, how he's going to go when his bases drop down a little bit. Just one to watch for owners. Luke Brooks and Daly Cherry Evans. Luke Brooks has been awesome. Again, another week where potentially Luke Brooks could have got up around 80 points. Didn't happen. That obstruction rule got called back. Look, I think while we're touching on the obstruction rule, I think that was a correct decision, although at some stage, the bunker has to have a sense of common sense into the game. Like, Jake Trbojevic barely impeded him. Luca Moretti just sort of flopped onto him as if to say, I'm absolutely shagged and I've had enough. There was no way he was getting to Turbo. Everyone knows that, but I think it was the right call. Unfortunately, because I was a Luke Brooks and a Trbojevic owner, I probably missed about 30 to 40 points there. But I think it would have opened a much more bigger can of worms if they had said, no, look, he's never going to get there, blah, blah, blah. So disappointing for Manly fans, potentially costing the game, but they look really good. They were up 14-0 at halftime, at the start of the game there. They should have gone on to win it. There was just a period there where Parramatta come through. I think they had 11 sets to 3 or something ridiculous like that. So just a period in the game where the Eagles got a bit of a roll on and the Eagles couldn't stop them. But anyway, the forward pack. Josh Alloway, Taniela Paseka. Taniela Paseka's been really good. I touched on him a bit with draft competitions. If you picked him up in your draft, well done. He's a monster. He's going to get you 50 points every game. Lockie Croker, Hamal Olakawade, Ben Trbojevic, Jake Trbojevic. Now, Ben Trbojevic, I was pretty keen on selling, to be honest, this week. Think there could be a couple of attacking opportunities coming up against the Dragons. And now Sean Kepi's been moved to the reserves. I'm probably going to look at moving Sean Kepi on instead of Ben Trebojevic. I think, unfortunately, that's how it's going to go. But anyway, we'll see what happens. On the bench for the Eagles is Carl Lawton, Corey Waddell, Ethan Bullymore and Nathan Brown. Not much to touch on there. Just one back with the Dragons. Viliama Fafita has been dropped to reserves. That is the best news ever. I bought in Teddy last week. Super happy with that result. I VC'd him 135 to 270 with the VC option. And then Viliama Fafita with a 9 just fucking broke me. But anyway, I ended up being the right decision. I was looking at captaining Hines, so it ended up being the right decision anyway. So happy days for the Ferrets. Now, the lonely old Titans up against the Dolphins. This could be an absolute romp if the Dolphins get on firing at the start. Their forward pack looks really good, and the Titans, they are decimated. Poor Tino, he is out for the season. There is a bit of a boost for the Titans with Jaden Campbell coming back. Their back seven looks Jaden Campbell, Cam Pereira and Philip Sami on the wings, Brian Kelly, AJ Brimson in the centres, and then Foran and Tanner Boyd in the 7. Look, Jaden Campbell comes back in, but I don't think he'll be enough to fix all their defensive woes that they've got. So, bit of an issue there for the Titans. Shit, they're in for a tough year. I think they've moved in from $6.50 favourites for the Spoon, $6.50, 2 favourites for the Spoon. Now they're about $3.20, $3.40 last time I looked. So, they're going to be in a world of hurt without Tino. I just don't see where their go forward comes from until Fafita comes back. Fafita is 18th man, so whether he does get a start back, I'm not sure. I hope they don't rush him back. But they fucking need him, I'll tell you what. Anyway, the forwards there, Mo Fodawaker and Keenan Palacia end up with the front row. Chris Randall is in the 9. Khalees Haas, he's been decent as well. Bo Fermor, he punched out a 50 if anyone kept him from the week before. Jamin Jolliffe in the 13. On the bench, Sam Verrills, Isaac Liu, Aaron Clark and Joe Stimson. Not much there from the bench for those guys. For the Dolphins, now Dolphins are an interesting one. We've got a heap of guys coming in. They're going to look at their price rises coming in. The number one player that I am hunting for the Dolphins is the Hammer. 600K, got a wicked break even. Looks to make a ton of cash coming up against the Titans. He could go huge. Had a bad game in his first game and still pumped out a 74. So I think the Hammer's in for a massive year. If we can sort that out and get him into our squads, I'll be a happy owner. Their back seven, Hammer, Jermaine Asako, Jake Ivarillo keeps his centre position there. Herbie Farnworth, Jack Bostock on the wing. He's set to make a ton of cash. I think he's a playable option this week on that left-hand edge. They look really good. He got a couple of good line breaks, set up a couple of good tries for the Hammer. He's one to watch. He looked a lot better in his second game than he did his first. So Cody Nikorima and Isaiah Katoa in the halves is an interesting one there. O'Sullivan still dropped. In the forwards, Jesse Bromwich, Jeremy Marshall-King is in the 9. Tom Flegler comes on. He is an interesting buy. If people are looking to get off Tino, then some poor bastards might have gone Haas to Tino. Now they're looking at someone else. So Tommy Flegler's a good downgrade there. He'll make a ton of cash as well, and he sets to be around that 50 to 60 point player week in, week out. Felice Kafusi, Ewan Aiken make up the back row, and Max Plath. Interesting one. Max Plath over Lockie Galvin. I just think Lockie Galvin's upside's a little bit bigger. Max Plath, he'll probably only get 45, 50 minutes in. Ray Stone does come off the bench this week, so his minutes may be a little bit limited. So, yeah, look, Max Plath is a good option, but I think Lockie Galvin is probably just a little bit better. Joshy Kerr in the 14, he's a popular buy. I don't really see it, although I could be proven completely wrong up against the Titans this week. But Josh Kerr, I'm probably going to avoid. I think there's too many spot fires going on for my liking for Josh Kerr to come into my side. Kurt Donahue, that's concerning for Jeremy Marshall-King. He could jump into the 9 for a limited amount of minutes, but Mark Nichols and Ray Stone coming off the bench as well. Other than that, not too much going on there with the Dolphins. Now, the Warriors up against the Knights. Very exciting for owners. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has been put back to the fullback spot. Didn't have an overly happy time there at fullback last week up against the Raiders. He had a few little challenges in the air, which he didn't look fully confident with, but he's going to have that running game. He's got the attacking upside. For me, the Knights look leaky. I think only winning by 2 up against that Melbourne Storm side who played disgusting. The Knights themselves weren't that great. they're missing a stack of players. I think coming out of yardage was a real drama for the Knights. Tuala tried his best, but Tommy Jenkins, he really struggled coming out of his own half. First run that he had, he looked like he picked up a little niggling injury, or he just got a solid shot to the ribs. Not sure what happened there, but they just look like they're going to battle coming through the middle, I think, the poor old 90s, especially coming out of their own half. So I'm expecting a big win for the Warriors this week. But anyway, we'll see. I'm a Knights fan, so I'm nervous. All right, for the Warriors, Tuivasa-Sheck gets the fullback spot. So that's very exciting. I'm a Roger Tuivasa-Sheck owner. The good news here is that there is no even mention in the reserves of Chance Nickel-Klokstad. We'll be watching to see if he's named in reserve grade, but he doesn't even get a start. So if you own Tane Tuapiki, he's out this week. I would be holding on to him just to have another look, because maybe if he plays one more week, he can get another price rise, and you might be able to do a little bit more with him with his cash generation then. For the wings, not much difference in the back seven. Adam Pompey comes into the centres, and Roger goes back to fullback. Watene Zalesniak, Marcello Montoya on the sting, Rocco Berry Pompey in the centres there. Luke Metcalf and Sean Johnson. Luke Metcalf's an interesting one. With Cleary going down, you may be able to move around. I think Luke Metcalf is a bit of an avoid, although he probably will go off this game up against Knights defence. Metcalf looks really good. I'm just a bit worried about his goal-kicking duties. They seem to have given him the goal-kicking duties, but only because Sean Johnson is battling a bit of an injury. I don't think they're ever going to come out one week and go, all right, Sean Johnson, he's ready to kick goals. I think it'll just happen. It won't really be announced. So a bit nervous there for me for Luke Metcalf. I think if you can get to Brooksy, that's probably a better option. For the forwards, Adam Fanua-Blake, 77 points, scored another try. He looks to be the number one forward running around at the moment. He's a good option if you have Tino. Move down to Adam Fanua-Blake. You'll be able to keep him for the whole year. Doesn't play Origin. Really good coverage in those bye rounds. So can't go wrong with Fanua-Blake. Wade Egan, he's named again. This is the third week in a row. He's been named maybe 2 weeks in a row, but highly spectacle that he will come in and play. Freddie Lussick is on the bench, and Jazz Tavaga is in the reserves. Also, Dylan Walker is on the bench as well. So I'm highly sceptical that Wade Egan plays, but anyway, he hasn't really been Supercoach relevant this year. Anyway, Mitch Barnett, he played really good last week. He had a massive amounts of minutes coming in the forwards. So Jackson Ford, Capewell, and Tohu Harris. I'll be looking at getting Tohu Harris in within the next month, I think. He's been killing it. His base has been super. Everyone sleeps on Tohu Harris so much, but he looks every bit that he does every other year, sort of thing. Massive work rate, good buy coverage over the Origin period. Tohu Harris and Adam Fanua-Blake should be on people's to buy lists very shortly anyway. Freddie Lussick, Nia Cora, Bunty Afoa, and Dylan Walker make out the interchange there. For the Knights, they are 1-7 in the back. Kalen Ponga at fullback, Tom Jenkins and Anari Tuala. Dane Gagai, Bradman Best in the centres, and in the halves we have Tyson Gamble and Jack Cogger. Jack Cogger had a shocking 20 minutes to open his campaign for starting halfback. I've been saying it all preseason. I don't think Cogger is this amazing halfback that everyone thinks he is. I think Jackson Hastings should be in that position. I think Tyson Gamble should be the 6. Regardless of this 10-game winning streak they went on, Jack Cogger was essentially a reserve grade player. You know, he went over to England. He was playing decent footy in England, but he wasn't a world beater in England. Half an hour in the grand final, 25 minutes in the grand final, and all he does is just get to open up Cleary. And Cleary, it was just a freak game by Cleary. More than anything, I think Cogger's got too big a raps on him. I'm worried that that's going to upset the nucleus of the Knights group. You've probably got Jacko Hastings, who, by all accounts, everyone gets on with super well in that club. You've got Cogger coming in, and then he kicks a ball out on the full, shifts the ball back, knocks the ball on. He just had a shocking 20 minutes. The argument there was he's going to open up Kalen Ponga. I don't think he did. Some people will say, Kalen Ponga getting a 72. Ponga got a try assist, a line break assist, throwing a pass out of dummy half. So Cogger did fuck all to open that up. Really, I don't know. I don't know if he's the answer. I think Hastings is better for the Knights there in every way. Cogger, he may come good, but yeah, we'll have to see. For the forwards, Daniel Safidi comes in for Leo Thompson. He is suspended for a game with Phoenix Crossland starting in the 9. In the back row, Tyson Frizzell, Kai Pearce-Paul and Adam Elliott. Huge news, Kai Pearce-Paul playing 80 minutes. If I didn't have all the fuck around with all these injuries, Kai Pearce-Paul will be coming into my team. Depending how he goes this week, he still could come into my team. He's got the Dragons the week after, so he may be one to watch, and he may be around 450k, which for what his output seems to be is still really cheap. So very Supercoach friendly game, offloads, tackle busts, no real attacking stats yet, and still pumped out a 60 something. So he is one to watch. Jaden Brayley comes off the bench. He could be at a decent price. He could be a little upgrade if he comes into the starting squad at some stage of the year and starts getting those 60-minute games. Danny Levi to Jaden Brayley could be a good little sideways bet, and Jaden Brayley has good coverage over Origin period as well. Sorry, I'm talking about Origin coverage early, but I think that is going to be how a lot of players make up a lot of points this year, being so far behind. The one to watch there is Dill Lucas is in number 18. I don't know what he's done wrong, but he seems to be a little bit on the outer there now that Kai Pearce-Paul seems to be the starting back rower. For the Sharkies, they've got a ton of injuries as well in their front row and second row forwards. They are in dire straits. In the back 7, Kyle Iro comes into the team. Now, don't go early on him. Do not fucking go early on him. Give him the 2 weeks. All these forwards may come back, and then he may move out of the side. But we've got Katoa, Ramian, Iro, Mulatalo, Braden Trindle and Nico Hines continue there in the halves. Trindle is going to be under a lot of pressure if he doesn't perform this game, I think. He's been terrible. A lot of people were saying they think Trindle's game is really affecting Nico Hines. I think Trindle's game is affecting the Sharks, to be honest. He was terrible. He's been pretty average the last couple of weeks as well. But the forwards, Tommy Hazelton, the big giraffe, he's a sneaky option. He played really, really good on the weekend. Inflated minutes, played 55 minutes, scored a try, but looked really good. Blake Brayley, Oregon Kafusi, Talakai comes into the second row there. That's exciting. Teague Wilton and Cam McInnes. Cam McInnes owners, he will get a massive bump because Dale Finucane is out. Oh God, I don't know how to spell your name. I'm so sorry, mate. Tuka Tapua, Billy Burns, Jack Williams, and Daniel Atkinson rake out the bench there. For the Raiders, Jordan Rapana, James Schiller, Timoko, Sebastian Chris, Xavier Savage, Ethan Strange, Jamal Fogarty. Albert Hopewade is out. James Schiller is in. One to keep an eye on there. Schiller is a decent cheapy price and looks the goods. Ethan Strange, I think, with the Sharkies, with their forwards and how they've been playing, I think he's an option. If you've got too many injuries, you'd be playing him. Josh Papali'i, Danny Levi, Joe Tarpanay, Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, and Morgan Smithies luckily keeps that 13th spot. Hold on to him for another week. He'll make some cash. He could be one to move on the week after. It could be a potential move to Kai Pearce-Paul if you can make that happen. On the bench, Tom Starling, Adam Mariota, Zach Hosking, and Pasami Saulo. The big one there is Corey Horsburgh is in the 19 in reserves. Keep a watch on that. He did play in the front row forwards last week in reserves, so fingers crossed he comes in the front row forward and Morgan Smithies keeps that position in lock, and we can get another week or two maybe out of it if we need to. Last game of the round, we have got Parramatta up against the Tigers, the Monday game due to Easter. For Parramatta, we've got Gutho, Micah Sevo comes back onto the wing, Will Penasini, Harper, Sean Russell, Blaze Tulagi moves into the 6. That is exciting as it fucking gets. Dill Brown in the 7. Blaze Tulagi, he's cheap as chips, near bottom dollar, if not bottom dollar. Look, I think his best position is centre. Had a blinder last week, but if he's in the 6 there, I'm happy to jump on him if he gets some scoring opportunities against the lowly old Tigers, although the lowly old Tigers were really good last week. So he's one to watch. Blaze Tulagi, keep him in the black book for next week. In the forwards, Campbell Gillard, Joey Lussick, Junior Paulo, Sean Lane, Cartwright, and Hopgood. Sean Lane, bit of a fucking... We touched on this last week. I thought it might have been a Parramatta effect, but he was quite uninterested, really, in that game. That was a game that was pretty closely contested. I thought he should have got his base up. Bryce Cartwright is named, although he is out injured, what I've heard. So I'm not sure what's happening there. That might be a bit of ducks and drakes sort of stuff going on. But anyway, Luca Moretti, Ryan Madison, Joe Offahangawi, and Kelma Tuolagi comes back into that interchange. Yeah, watch that Bryce Cartwright one. Hopefully Maddo moves on to that edge. For the Tigers, Jareen Buller, Charlie Staines, Fatape, Justin Olam, Junior Tupou, and Lachlan Galvin with Aiden Caesar. Lockie Galvin is locked in. Buy him into your squad. I think it's even a safe bet to go Cleary now that Moses is out and Hines underperforming. Hopefully you've already got one of those guys along with Luke Brooks like we've got, and Lockie Galvin can come into that number 6 jersey for you guys and make a ton of cash there. Looks awesome. 72 on the weekend. Didn't get a try or a line break, but just his running game as well, the nice little offloads. He's going to be a good little prospect for Supercoaches this year. In the forwards, Stefano Utukamanu. He looks really good the opening couple of rounds. I want to give him another round until I have a little look at him, but he could be a nice little downgrade or even an upgrade. His output's been really good. Go and have a look at his minutes and stats. He looks very promising. Api Coruscant, huge. He'll be one of the most bought in this week. I'm not going to trade him in. I think I'm going to go keep Grant, just with all the injuries I've got. I really want to keep some trades for that. But yeah, Coruscant, if you started with him, you're looking to trade him in, I will not talk you out of it. Clemmer, Papali'i, John Bateman, and Fanua Pola has been really good the last couple of weeks as well. Jaden Sullivan, Alex Seyfarth, Kapoa, and Samuela Fainu. Fainu's set to make a heap of cash. If you're looking to jump on him, probably not going to talk you out of it, although I think there are better options and you should pay up for a Kai Pierce-Paul. Anyway, guys, that's all we've got to go through. That's the team lists. We're doing a buy, hold, sell one a little bit later. Probably tomorrow I'll get that out to you guys. But anyway, yeah, that's all we got time for. Again, our code for our league is 726-638. So jump on board for that. Thanks heaps, legends. Take care.